I-bond rates will be announced in May of 2025 for the next I-bond rates. But we're only 1 month away from all the data we need from April for the next inflation report to know what the inflation rate is going to be for I-bonds. We know that ahead of time. We do not know the fixed rate ahead of time, but we can have an indication. So we've got new data here in March. We have 5 out of the 6 months that we need for the inflation rate, knowing the inflation rate. So let's dive into the data, see where things are headed. I'm going to have you come along right with me, learn this as we're going along. So let me share my screen here. All right, so a big inflation report on the way for Wednesday. Here's what to expect. They are expecting, just the economists in general, 0.3% for a monthly increase, which would be 2.9% for inflation. That's the expectation. But let's see where that came in. Let's go straight to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, oh, there you are. CPI rises 0.2% in February. So that was an expectation of 0.3. So only 2.8% for the last 12 months, not seasonally adjusted. Well, 2.8% versus 2.9 in my mind is not terribly too different, especially because this is all rounded off. It could easily have been maybe 2.84% was a true number, and it got rounded down at 2.8 when just a digit higher at 2.85% would have rounded up to 2.9 would have been different headlines. Speaking of headlines, let's see what the new headlines are. Dow futures rise 250 after soft inflation report. So that's a small difference of 2.8 to 2.9. They call it a soft inflation report. Well, that would suggest that the rates are going lower. Well, let's check out those rates. I-bond rates right now. We've got the full I-bond rate chart, 3.11%, which is a 1.2. That's pretty small for everyone here. All right. Yeah, 1.2% fixed rate, 3.11% total. That's off of a 0.95% semi-inflation annual inflation rate. Every 6 months they renew this. So 0.95, you double that. 1.9 inflation is where we're at right now for the I-bonds, new I-bonds or renewing I-bonds, and 1.2 is the fixed rate there. Well, let's get these numbers into the charts, and I got to pull a number here that's a 0.2% increase or 2.8% for the full year. That matters not as much as this exact number. I need this exact number, 319.082. Let's grab that an exact number. Oh, here, interesting. For the month, the index increased 0.4% prior to seasonal adjustment. Things go up and down. I found looking at it that inflation, of course, Bureau of Labor Statistics, the economists see that inflation is not static throughout the year; it adjusts over time. It seems like inflation is rather low in general in this in the winter time, and then it starts to pick up in March. So here we are in March, looking at February's number. So let's take a look here. I-bond projection. So I'm gonna plug in that number. I had the expectation rate, but 319.082. So 319.082. I've got a whole lot of math. What I've done is the last 15 years of data, taken a look and seen that on average, the last 15 years of data, that inflation rate has been at 2.4%. And from that, 2.4%, a lot of it comes in the last month. It really picks up in March on average. So let me show you here where you take a look at. Here's that semi-inflation rate from a year ago, 1.48%. Double it. I just have a doubling here. 2.95 would have been 2.96 in the world. They don't take the third digit, the thousandth digit, but a lot of it came in the month before. They're at 1.65%. And so that difference was really big, 1.27% difference on there. So let's look at these numbers. So 1.36 has been the average inflation over time. 1.27 has been what's happened that last month. You know what? I've got a slight. let me adjust this. I want to make sure I have the right info in here. Okay, that's good. Yeah, let's get this going here. All right, that's the number. That's the difference on it. And that difference on there. All right, let's adjust in real time. Let's see how we're projecting it all out. I've got to adjust all 15 of these. There you go. All right, I've done it. So on average here, about 0.5% extra. So if today's at 319 for the CPI, on average that next month be 0.5% added. So we can take then, we've got a projection now of the CPI number. We've got what last September's number might be. 1.72% is the projected semi-annual inflation. That's almost a doubling, which means 3.44% is the projected inflation rate. Add that to the current fixed rate of 1.2%, and 4.64 is the projection for buying new I bonds starting in May. How does that compare again? 3.11. So there's a projection that I bond rates are going up 1.5% for brand new purchased I bonds. And if you have an existing I bond, your inflation rate is at a 1.9% annually, but the projection is that would go up to 3.4% annually. So a projection all in the inflation rate of 1.5% higher starting in May. Now, I said this is the fixed rate currently, but let's take a look at the real rates, see where the real rates are coming in. This is all the data for the last 6 months here through October on real interest rates. Now, David Inna at TipsWatch, he's been tracking this, and his suggestion is that there is no formula. We know there's no formula that is published for the real rates, but he takes a look at the 5-year numbers and the 10-year numbers and says, look at a 60% factor. If you look at the 5-year number of the averages, so I've got the averages here going for all this. Ooh, let's update this. Okay, let's see if there's anything different there. Let's get an update. Average there. Average all across. Nope, not anything different there. Yep, the average is of the 60% number of the 5 years. So the 5-year average right now on real interest rates 1.78. 5-year average on, 10-year average on real interest rates is 2.02. 60% of that number is basically between 1.2, 1.3. I don't see any time they've done like a 1.25, but I would see here real interest rates kind of heading down lately. Maybe heading down lately. So I think if they're stuck between 1.2 and 1.3, my best guess is they would keep things at 1.2. So that's the projection. 3.44% inflation. Inflation rate is projected to go up mainly off of the month of March. The month of March will do it. That's the last month, but often that's the biggest inflation month historically out of all the months in this 6 months set of data for the next May inflation rate. So expecting and projecting a higher inflation rate, 1.5% higher for I bonds. There you go. Ask. I'm live here on YouTube, so ask the comments, and you'll be watching the replay here. Ask the comments questions you have in the comments. I will answer those right away. Make sure to subscribe to the Mr. Retirement YouTube channel and enjoy the rest of your day.